guys, so it's been a little while since I've posted a video over here on my YouTube channel, and that's mainly due to the fact that I have been gone on the road for the past month. I took a road trip across the whole western half of the United States, traveling to see my family from Colorado to Texas, over to California. Videos for that road trip will be posted to this channel in the near future, but for today's video, I wanted to talk about a different journey. A health journey, a fitness journey, a weight loss journey. I feel like no YouTube channel is complete without a good weight loss journey video, if that's your thing. But I was inspired to put this video together because it directly is connected to a lot of the hiking adventures that I have planned for this year and next year. And I've been spending a lot of time focusing on getting into better shape so that I can tackle more difficult hikes. So I wanted to put a video together and just kind of share that journey with you guys in hopes that maybe it helps somebody else. So it had been about 6 months since I had seen both of my sisters, almost a year since I had seen my parents, a little over a year since I had seen my grandparents, aunt, uncle, and cousins. And then it had been 5 years since I had seen my ex's family. The comment that I got along every stop was, "Wow, you look great. You look thinner. You look so much more fit. What are you doing?" And that was always a difficult question to answer because there's a lot that goes into getting into shape. And so I figured I'd put the video together just so that I could kind of go through some of the various steps that I went through to get to where I am now. So back in the month of February, I was watching April Lauren on her YouTube channel where she films her weight loss journey. And she was doing something called Fit-You-ary. It's like fitness and February mixed together. Anyway, she had asked her followers if they would record their weight loss journey to share with her. So I was on a mission to be super focused, super strict about my fitness and diet goals in the month of February. And this is even with the added challenge of starting a new job. So I'm realizing I should probably back up a little bit here. Technically, this journey started at the end of November of 2020. Thanksgiving had just passed and Christmas didn't feel like it was going to be the same that year with all the social distancing and whatnot. So I decided I'd get a little jump start on my fitness and diet goals for the new year, as I had done so many times before. You see, I've been trying to get on this diet and exercise train for a number of years now. I was going through my computer and I noticed that I have before photos from 2017, 2018 when I started working out with a personal trainer, 2019, a set from April of 2020, and from June of 2020. So yeah, I've been trying to do this for a while now. So I have to admit that the photos that I looked through, I was seeing some pretty decent progress between 2017 and 2018 when I started working out with a personal trainer. The problem was, though, I could not get a handle on my drinking and my eating habits. It didn't matter how much my personal trainer bugged me about it. I could not get that piece under control. So that brings me to the first piece that changed this time, focusing on food first. So I hate to admit it, but it took me a while to get my head wrapped around the importance that food played in weight loss. How much food, what kind of food, how often to eat, what time to eat. And I have to give some credit. The pandemic made eating out a lot less accessible or enjoyable. So I actually had to force myself to look at what I was eating and when I was eating and try and make some better choices. But I also have to give credit to Wheezy Waiter. Yep, this guy. He used to do these month-long challenge videos on his YouTube channel, things like no added sugar for a month, no alcohol for a month. And one of the months he was trying out intermittent fasting. Now, I had never really looked into intermittent fasting that much before, but after watching his video, I was fascinated by it. So that led me to Autumn Bates' channel on YouTube. She was featured in Wheezy's video. I'll link the video down below in case anybody's curious checking it out. And I ended up picking up an intermittent fasting bundle guide from her, and it's honestly been pretty life-changing. For anyone out there who is trying to make better choices around food, I would highly recommend checking Autumn's channel out. She's a certified clinical nutritionist, and she has her master's in sports nutrition, so she's all about like science-backed details around healthy eating. Learning about how intermittent fasting helps your body switch over into fat-burning mode and helps with gut healing has been amazing. Obtaining this base knowledge from her has really helped me make better choices with food, and I've found so many new and interesting ways to cook foods that I've never even tried before. It's been awesome. And I know, changing food habits can be really challenging. I craved sugar and alcohol for a good week or two before finally turning a corner. But if you have the dedication and the willpower and the desire to really see change in your life, if you stick with it, you can overcome. Honestly, I got to the point where I preferred the healthy foods that I was eating, and if you eat until satiated each night, there's not really any room for that pint of ice cream after dinner. I mean, who are we kidding? I still have a pint of ice cream every once in a while, but just not nearly as often as I used to. Seriously, I'm just way too full after eating dinner each night to actually want to pack any more on top of that. And that brings me to my next point, establishing new habits. So starting something like this requires some pretty serious structure. I started off personally by just taking one day out of the week and creating a menu for what I was going to eat for the rest of the week. By planning that out, going grocery shopping, picking up all the food and just having it there ready to go, creating that structure made it so much easier for me to stick with the habits that I had planned for the rest of the week. Some of the other habits that I established throughout my journey have been just staying hydrated. So I wake up each morning and I start my day off with a Celtic sea salt water. This helps me replenish any electrolytes that I may have lost overnight while sleeping. I work out before I do anything else during the day. So every other day I work out in a fasted state. Just get that kind of over and done with. I drink an apple cider vinegar water before I break my fast, just kind of helps stabilize insulin levels. Break my fast typically around the same time every day. Try to get out and go for a walk at lunch. Having dinner about the same time every day. Having an evening tea before I go to bed. That's been a really awesome new habit that I have established. And then just kind of, making sure that I'm keeping my personal hygiene and that sort of thing kept up. So time to brush teeth, wash my face before I go and enjoy my tea. And these habits, once they've been established and kind of done on the repetitive, they're pretty easy to keep doing. That brings me to the third thing that was different this time, and that was just focusing on creating or establishing one habit at a time. Don't try and overload yourself by changing everything all at once. I've done this so many times in the past and it rarely ever works. So this time in 2020, I decided to just slowly start making minor adjustments. And this started with something as simple as making sure that I was consistent about brushing my teeth and washing my face before I went to bed. Once I felt like I had that mastered, I added in removing sugar from my coffee in the morning. And then I would change what I was eating during the week. Maybe not every day, but more days than not. And then I added in the exercise. Just get out and walk for like 15 minutes every morning. And then I added in a workout routine 2 days a week, and then that led to 3 days a week, and then I'm currently at 4 days a week. It takes some time to kind of work up to it, but I felt like just adding in one small adjustment at a time made it a lot easier to stick with. So speaking of working out, that actually brings me to my fourth point, and that's to get moving. So back at the beginning of 2020, I actually started working out pretty regularly at this gym studio class place called Fit-You-ary. They were basically like a workout game. Essentially, if you exerted enough effort in the class, you get a certain amount of what they called splat points. And if you reached a particular amount of splat points for the class, then you would have an afterburn effect that would be persistent after the class was over. And so anytime I didn't meet my 12 splat points for the class, I would write in my journal a sad face. It was It's pretty addicting, actually. And I went and did that up until things all shut down last year. March 7th, I think, was the last time that I took class. Up until just recently, actually, I took a class while I was in Denver visiting my sister. I was really thankful that Orange Theory had begun posting workouts on their YouTube channel so that I could keep working out at home even though the studios were closed. And I had started doing their workouts 3 times a week. Now, did it start out as 3 times a week? Sure didn't. I was pretty inactive for quite a few months before actually getting into a groove, but it started out with something simple. I would just get out and I would walk first thing in the morning for like 15 minutes. Just getting outside, breathing some fresh air, just having some sun hit my skin, it really set the tone for the rest of my day. And I felt like by doing that, it made it a little bit easier to stick with some of the other things that I had set up for the rest of my day. Things like eating healthy and getting to bed at a good time so I could get good sleep. So what I would recommend is start off with something small, even if it's just getting out and walking every day for 10-15 minutes. And then find an exercise that works for you. What worked for me won't necessarily work for you, but it could. Just try different things until you find something that does work for you, and then stick with it and add on to it a little bit if you're feeling unchallenged, and just watch it grow. This brings me to point number 5, which is tracking your progress. Now, I'm a sucker for stats, so I really enjoyed tracking my daily steps and my calories in, calories out, my sleep score, my inches lost. But it's really easy to get wrapped up in the numbers and to start feeling disappointed if they're not exactly where you're expecting them to be. So what I would recommend is make sure that you track your non-number changes as well. Things like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you have more energy? Do you have a better mood during the day? Was there a hike or a bike ride or a run that you found challenging before that's easier now? Are there a pair of skinny jeans in your closet you've been saving to fit into that you actually fit into now? Keep track of those as well, and that way you can stay motivated. All right, and that brings me to my last point, and that's knowing when to go easy on yourself, knowing when to take a break. Just listen to your body. There are going to be times when exercising willpower is the right move. There's going to be other times where you've stuck with it long enough, and just taking a break from it and giving in to that cheeseburger or that slice of cake is the better option for your long-term goals. Be careful though, because if you overindulge too much, that might make it a little more difficult to bounce back. I would say a typical deviation for me looks like choosing to have breakfast and not fast 1 or 2 times a week, or having a treat meal that's scheduled for the week. And then if I do decide to go out another day that week, just making better choices. For instance, if I go out after already having a treat meal once this week, I may choose to have just meat and vegetables at the restaurant that I'm going to instead of pasta. And taking it easy will apply to exercise too. For the full month of February, I worked out 4 days in a row doing a booty blasting fitness program that I had bought from a personal trainer that I used to work with back in 2018. I stuck with it and I completed the whole program in the month of February, but the week after, the first week of March, I just kind of took it easy, and I did just a couple of more easygoing workouts from the Orange Theory YouTube videos, and didn't work out as many days that week. But after the week was done, I was ready to get back to it. So give yourself a little bit of grace, take a break once in a while, but not for too long. So my final thoughts as I wrap up this video are, what worked for me may not work for you, but I do hope that some of the information in this video is helpful to someone. Of course, if you have any questions regarding any of the specifics that I did, like what was on my weekly food menu or what exercise routine I was doing, feel free to leave a comment down below and I would be happy to get back to you on that. And of course, no weight loss video here on YouTube is complete without before and after photos. So here is a photo of me in November of 2020 when I first started, and the most recent photo that I just took June 2021. Over the course of 7 months, I lost around 20 pounds, and most notably, measurement-wise, I lost around 5 inches around my waist. But overall, what really matters is that I feel better, I have more energy, my mood's more stable, and I just feel all around more capable. And I hope that you can too. Thanks for watching, guys. See you around.